I think just being a first-time speaker up here, he did a fabulous job. Not only were we able to get to know him through the story that he told us, his past, his present, and what he wants to do, his achievements, and where he kind of wants to go in his life for now. Strong points, I think that you really hit home in that you told us where you're from and your story with Justin. And I can tell that Justin really changed you as a person, because just interacting with you, I can tell that you are super polite, you have your composure, and up here, you're behind the podium a little bit, but I can definitely tell you, with a couple more practices, you're going to be a great speaker. You did use an outline, because the icebreaker speech does kind of give you an opening, body, and conclusion. You hit all those marks. And I think some of the points that you talked to me beforehand when we talked about some of the goals that you had in your speech was, let people know who you are. Like, who is David, where he's come from, your homeschool to like getting into Sac State and where you're at now. Really kind of painted the story for us of who you are as a person. Also, I think one of the key parts of it is just you wanted to get the speech done. And as the first speech, I think that's completely, that's the number one goal, right? Like I said, yeah. So, and you also use no notes. As a first-time speech, I think I use notes, or I had like cue cards or something, and you didn't use any type of notes. All of it was in your head. It was memorized, but it didn't come across as memorized, and which I think everyone should strive for when giving their speech up here. It shouldn't be, depending on your slideshow or your notes. It's really about being comfortable up here, talking to people, and letting them know who you are, which I think you did a great job. So yeah, you didn't use notes. I think it was a perfect speech. In terms of things that you could possibly work on, I noticed that you looked down a lot. So maybe giving an icon, kind of scan the room, choose some people that you can put your focus on a couple of times instead of just looking down, and because it also talks, it's about confidence too, being up here, kind of looking around the room, scanning, instead of just keeping your focus down at your notes or down at your hands. People want to see you, and we're here to listen to you. So definitely kind of scan the room, pick a few people to kind of jump around instead of just looking at one thing. Another thing is, you're behind the podium, maybe you want to move around a little bit. That kind of, also comes with confidence and being up here more often. And I think just with more speeches, I just see you as such a great, speech giver. You have a good presence and you have great composure up here, which I think is really important, when you communicate with people in general. So I think I'm just excited to see you grow. This is just your first speech, and it was just the icebreaker, so I definitely foresee, more powerful speeches from you in the future. So that was great.
Victoria.
And,
Yes.
The next person is Anthony.
Thank you, Victoria. Fellow Toastmasters, distinguished guests, and especially Alex. I had the opportunity to evaluate your speech tonight. It was your first speech, an icebreaker, and I thought it was definitely your style. You had 3 goals, and they were to talk about yourself, time, and Yahtzee, which you did. One thing that I would note is that it was, I didn't really follow it, but it was very poetic even, like very insightful. I thought that when you were speaking, I was listening, and it was making sense, and then it would go off, and I couldn't really follow it. So maybe next time, maybe try more organized structure. But I thought it was kind of neat what you were talking about. It was definitely unique, a very Alex experience. It was a bit short, I think. Is that right? Yeah, so maybe next time work on rehearsing time limits. So I really don't have much more. Just make sure that you follow maybe a more structured organization next time, and just keep on working at it. I applaud you very much for coming out here and giving your introductory speech. It's very tough to do, and I congratulate you for doing that. So thank you very much, and thank you all. Dan,
And
How's everyone doing? I had the pleasure of listening to Sean's speech and evaluating. I just want to say, Sean, that was an excellent speech. I think pretty much almost everyone can agree. There were a couple times I looked around the room and noticed that everybody's attention was just on Sean the entire time. He grabbed my attention from the get. The speech value I thought was very interesting. He kept my attention the entire time. I felt like he did that for the rest of the room. I felt like Sean was very well prepared. I noticed he brought a tablet, but he really didn't have to use it as a crutch. He just stayed on point. Organization was on point, very logical, very clear. So he did an excellent job with that. Opening, very captivating. And like I said, he grabbed my attention and kept it. And he kept with the theme, using decimatory and also challenged us to really look into ourselves as we were listening to our speech. At least that's how I felt. Defining what it is that you want in life and identifying your goals in order to accomplish your goals. The body flow very smooth. I was very impressed with that. I really don't have a whole lot to criticize. It was very hard for me to do that. The only thing I could really say is maybe, and I could be wrong, but maybe during the body, maybe slow down a little bit at times, but I could be wrong. I mean, it was so good. Let's see, what else? I felt like he did an excellent job of keeping eye contact. I noticed he looked around the room a lot and really engaged us and kept us in his flow. And I also have to say he was well dressed too. I noticed like his outfit was on point, and I could probably use some pointers. Sean. Excellent job. That's it.
Okay, so I guess I'm supposed to evaluate the evaluator.
Yes.
Tiffany, you did I noticed you did the sandwich method, which I learned first day I was here, which is she pointed out something good, she pointed out something bad, and she concluded with a good, positive advice. I'd say you generate a lot of information in your head, so maybe you pause a little bit here and there, and you had really good energy, and I agree with all your points, and yeah. And for Anthony, what was it? Yeah, I agree with all your points, and you're always pretty like natural up here. The flow was good. And I would say for like my advice for you would be, I noticed you like almost like tripped over here. Maybe you could watch your foot movement a little bit. That's what I would add if I was evaluating you. But he basically covered everything pretty much. And Marcos, yeah, you had really good eye contact. And, yeah, you're good.
Thank you. Awesome.